My research study was the effects that postpartum depression has on language development in infants, specifically expressive language. So, an overview of the study is that it looked at if early onset or late onset depression had more of an impact on the development of expressive language in infants, as I mentioned before. Early onset was considered birth to 4 weeks old, and late onset was considered 5 weeks old and on. And this research was done from infants at birth to 40 months old. At the beginning of the study, it was established that there is a correlation between postpartum depression and a delay in expressive language. So, this study was specifically focused on whether early onset or late onset postpartum depression had more of an impact on this. So, the method of study was 969 infants and their mothers. They chose to be a part of this research study. It was a sample from Japan, and they did it through the hospital and agency that they gave birth through. So the study went from birth of the infant until they were 4 months old, as I mentioned before. The expressive language of the child was measured through the Mullen scales of early learning, and it was measured 6 different times throughout the study. It was measured every 4 to 6 months to just assess their growth and how well they were doing. The mother's postpartum depression was evaluated as well through a questionnaire, which they took 3 times throughout. The questionnaire was the EPDS, which is just a postpartum survey they were able to take at their own home and then send in, and these two things were evaluated and compared. The findings of this study was that late onset depression is associated with reduced expressive language scores, and there's no correlation with early onset postpartum depression. So, the timing of maternal postpartum depression is one of the most influential factors in a child's development, is what was the main takeaway from this study. And the reason, or the fact that there was no correlation with early onset depression, was found to be very encouraging for mothers who experience postpartum depression, which is very common. So it was comforting to them and gave a little peace of mind. So, application for teachers and caregivers. It's important for teachers to know why the student is having the problems they're having with expressive language. They need to know why they're having these issues so they can know how to help and assess them and ultimately allow the student to improve. Um, it's important to understand what they did not receive while in infancy from maybe their mothers, such as social interactions, which we learned is very important, such as mutual gaze or proto conversations or hearing the mother ease and things like that, which we know are fundamental for developing language. It's important for the teacher to understand that they might not have received this due to maternal postpartum depression, which can help them know how to help the student improve best. This is also just important information for all adults to know, whether they're going through postpartum depression or know someone else who's going through postpartum depression. It's important for them to understand that this can affect the expressive language development of infants so that they can ask for help or they can help others around them. Here is the reference I used. Thank you.